All right, it is time to skol with the enemy from the boys from Zero Doinks. All right, well, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. We are Lupagus tonight, Lupagus less tonight, but damn it, that does not matter. We are skOL'ing with the enemy, and this week's enemy, Bill and Dan from Zero Doinks Bears Podcast. I gotta admit, everybody who watches our show knows we're very weird. These guys might one-up us. They might be weirder than us, but we'll let you decide that. But no, this is fantastic. We had them on the NFC North kind of preview show, and now we got them live talking Bears, talking Vikings. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, what a professional open. My pants flew right off. I'm never going to find them again. They blew through the drywall in my basement. Dan, I'm happy to be here. You? Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I'm glad I wore my chaps because the same thing would have been, the pants would have been ruined. So beautiful intro. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate
We're
that.
a little
I've been
weird.
working on that since I got up this morning. You're right. I absolutely killed it. I just absolutely nailed it.
Nailed it.
And we'd like to thank Snuffleupagus for being here as well tonight.
So
Thank
good to
you.
see him. So good to see him right now.
I told him, I said, we got the Zero Doink boys coming on. I was like, yeah, you can handle this. I'm out. I'm done. We'll have all the links down in the description. Be sure to hit them up.
He's the elephant guy, right? Is that Snuffleupagus? I'm trying to remember.
He's the big hairy elephant. That makes no sense. He's the woolly mammoth.
Is that a penis thing? Is
Lupagus
saying he's like
Sesame Street
got a big
had
hairy
a different angle to it.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to get that out. Sorry,
No,
my bad. Sorry,
no, you're actually the first one to really ask about the origin of Lupagus. And yes, it does have to do with Snuffleupagus. So there you have it. But hey, let's talk Bears. Let's talk Vikings. I'm gonna put a disclaimer out here that I'm not trying to be a dick. I promise. When I'm talking about the Bears, going into this season predictions, talking about the Bears, just have not been overly kind with where the Bears are at. That said, this is the exact type of game that the Vikings will come out, step on their dick, and they will lose. So I'm going to give you that because we've done this before where we come out overly confident and they lose. So I'm going to say this as nicely as possible, but honestly, how do the Bears have 2 wins? I'm shocked that they have 2 wins.
Go ahead, Dan. You can take that one.
We're just as stunned as you are, to be perfectly honest. I would say of the Bears podcasts out there, we're definitely the weirdest. I feel like we tend to be more realistic than a lot of the other pump ourselves up Bears fans. We're not a very good football team. We'll just come out and say it. All facets of our game are pretty bad, except for the kicker that we signed and one day later hit 4 field goals against the Giants. He might be the only shining spot at this point. 2 wins, let's say. We played the Texans. That helped. The Texans going to Texans. And then we played the 49ers in a, not to be insensitive, a hurricane. I know we've had a bad hurricane, but it was shit weather. So that helped, I guess, but we're not a good football team. I'll just say that.
I appreciate the honesty. I mean,
yeah. And just for the record, like anything you say, you can't hurt us more than we've already hurt ourselves as Bears fans. We've been going at this for a while, pretty much since the double doink, the original double doink. Mm-hmm. We're just dead inside as Bears fans for the most part.
Yeah. Well, you are talking to Vikings fans right now, so dead inside. I mean, we know exactly what you feel. Bill, this one's for you. So you got the new front office, you got the new coaching staff.
Yep.
Very early, but Ryan Poles was a guy that was at least a little bit rumored to the Vikings. We didn't get him. We got Quake. But how are you feeling just very, very early on, just maybe on the offseason, the guys they got rid of, the guys they signed? Is it too early? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, too early to say generally. That's a cop-out, I know. But this clearly, they're not saying it. They blew it up. This is a rebuilding, year one of hopefully not too many years because he will be sitting next to Ryan Pace in Atlanta if it takes too long to rebuild this puppy. But no, I think So, he, unlike Ryan Pace, may he rest in peace, he actually traded 4 additional draft pieces to add to a roster that needs depth. He's, Justin Fields isn't his guy. That's the big talk of Chicago Bears land is that's the most important piece of this year. To where how they land at the end of the year record wise doesn't matter as much as what it's going to look like for Fields going forward. So that's a question that's out there. Can Poles build an offense that is not built for the 1920s? So far, early returns not great in that category, but I don't know. I'm still bullish on Poles. He hasn't hurt my feelings.
You haven't thrown, if 4 games in, you guys haven't thrown the towel in.
No, honestly, because I think most people would have thought we'd be 1-3 out of those 4 games if you really thought about it. Bears fans are a strange breed. Like, they're not unlike Vikings fans, I'm sure. Packers fans are. I don't think there are Lions fans, so we can ignore them. But
damn.
They,
Mike, you're watching. I apologize for that.
Micro Mike. I don't want to know why you're called Micro Mike. But I would say, I'm so sorry about that, buddy. I would say, like, going into the year, Bears fans knew it was a rebuilding year. Immediately changed course once we beat the 49ers week 1. So now all of a sudden we're going to the playoffs. At worst, we'll be a 3 seed. And then, after 4 games, we're 2-2. This is exactly probably a step better than we thought we would be, if we're all honest.
Dan, I'm trying to get a grasp on how you're feeling about the Bears. If you had to compare this Bears team to a body part, what would it be?
Oh, a flaccid penis.
Okay, that, you know what? Not bad. That's
because it's just limp all around. It's does not seem to be operating properly, and it's in the way that you would like. It's just soft all around. Our tackling is soft. Our blocking is soft on offense. Our passing game could not be softer. It's just uninspiring and kind of sad to look at. So I think flaccid penis would be exactly it. I think I nailed that 100%.
Yeah, that was clutch. I was expecting something maybe just graphic or just really generic, but you went right for the throat. That was good. You guys mentioned Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. New coach. I mean, new front office. You mentioned maybe they're not in on him. I mean, you guys can't be giving up on Justin Fields, right? It's not going to be, if he sucks this whole season, he's going to come back next year and be your starting quarterback, right?
Yes, absolutely. No, you will not find Dan and I giving up on him unless, like, the next 10 weeks looks like his arms are put on backwards. Basically, I think he's got a rough deck of cards that he's been dealt. He's been dealt. Not a big cards guy. That's not true. I love blackjack. So he's got. I mean, just look. You have to look at it realistically. His number 1 wide receiver is Darnell Mooney, who is not a number 1 wide receiver. His number 1 tight end, Cole Kmet, second rounder a couple years ago. He's in quicksand all the time, and he has frying pans for hands. And his offensive line,
that guy too. Love him.
Yeah, right. So it's like, and he has no time to throw. So he's looking. He's giving it 3 seconds. If he's got a guy, he'll pull the trigger sometimes. If not, he'll tuck and run. So no, our biggest fear, at least Dan and mine, is that he is going to die on the field within the next couple weeks, and we'll have to watch Trevor Siemian, and we won't know.
Former Viking Trevor Siemian.
Oh, yeah, but we want answers on Fields in the next couple of years, like everybody else. But we're just a couple of dopes.
Well, you kind of answered my next question. You guys are averaging, I hope this is right, I got it from, I think it was NFL.com, 97.5 yards in the air a game. And I was going to just kind of ask, like, what's that attributed to? Is it a shitty offensive line? Is it the fact that you're wide receivers? Is it the play calling? Is it a combination of everything? Is it the fact that you played in a rainstorm week 1? I mean, how is that possible?
I think the play calling was definitely an issue last week. Just very conservative. It seems like they don't really trust whether it's Justin or the offensive line or our skill guys. I guess pick your poison. I mean, it's just bad all around. There's no rhyme or reason why we're not throwing the ball more. Now, I will say against like at the Texans, we ran the ball really well, and we just hung with that. So that skewed things a little bit, but this past weekend there were some signs that it was looking better in the passing game, but the offensive line is a huge concern, and I think that came to light more so in week 4 than it had the previous 3 weeks, that there are huge problems with the offensive line, and Justin bails quickly. He has no confidence in the line. And even when he makes a decent throw, I mean, we had Dante Pettis. I mean, we're counting on Dante Pettis to take us to the promised land. That's when you know things are bad. He had a huge drop on 3rd down. So he has no confidence in the receivers. Like Bill said, Cole Kmet's completely irrelevant. And we might have the worst center in all of the history of football right now. And
you're talking to a team that has Garrett Bradbury.
I'll take Bradbury.
Center? I don't even have the depth.
Sam Mustipher. He should be a practice
Notre Dame,
guy
right?
At best.
Yeah,
Notre Dame guy. Domer. We are very down on our Notre Dame guys right now with Mustipher and Cole Kmet. They're just very underwhelming. I think it's an embarrassing low number of yards that we're averaging right now, but we're not throwing the ball a lot. And that's kind of the worst case scenario with Justin Fields, because we got to see what he's got before he actually dies on the field. And we got to throw the ball 25, 30. It doesn't matter. Like, wins and losses for this team doesn't matter. We just got to see what we got with that guy. And whether receivers are open or not, he's got to take shots. He's got to build up his confidence. And I think Luke Getsy is doing him a disservice right now. So, and Poles takes on some of that. We really we put no effort into building an offensive line. I'm less concerned about the receivers. Like, it is what it is. If he's got time to throw the ball, those guys are going to get open. So frustrating all around.
It's got to be Lupagus blowing up.
That's Lupagus.
Yeah, Lupagus is. You just woke up.
Was that a hairy dick pic he just sent you? Or?
Other side. You turned her around. You're talking. So we're talking about everything that Bears that do bad, but you guys are running the shit out of the ball. I mean, averaging 177 yards a game, which is 3rd best in the league. So you're doing that right. I mean, is that just because you're not running the ball? Do you actually have a good run game? I mean, you got Montgomery, you got Herbert. And also, another question on top of that, who's your number 1 back? I mean, who's the guy that you want to see getting the ball?
Great questions. I still think it's David Montgomery, number 1. I think he's more versatile. He's not the fastest guy in the world. Herbert can probably beat him in a 40, but he's shifty, and he's always falling forward. Like, he'll get you on something that blows up in the backfield almost. He'll get you like 2 or 3 yards on some of those, and we're familiar with those in Chicago, those types of plays. But yeah, it is weird. Yeah, we're knocking the offensive line for their pass protection. And then apparently, I'm no expert on line play, but they're doing something right on with our running game. It's a little skewed because Fields is getting probably 50 or 60 yards a game. Also, maybe I may have blown that up by a few yards, but Herbert's a good backup. I do like Herbert. I think Monty's contract's up, so we'll see somebody and Herbert probably in 2023. So I don't think Montgomery's on like the Dalvin Cook level where you give him that type of cash.
Yeah, I think. I was gonna say, I think the problem that's come up even this last game, we have no creativity in the running game at all. It's frustrating to see like a Kyle Shanahan. Ooh, I'm living in the past. Like the 49ers last night, utilizing this is the first time we've had a fullback in. God, I don't even know how many years, Bill. Like, it's been forever, and it seems like we don't utilize him as like a lead blocker as much as I would like, and any misdirection or anything. We have Velus Jones Jr. So, we don't utilize any of our fast guys to mix it up in the run game. So I think the run game's been good, but I think those numbers are overinflated right now. And I think once we hit a good like the Vikings this week could be a total shit show for us. I don't have it in front of me how well the Vikings do on stopping the run, but it's okay.
You might blow these numbers out of the water.
I feel a little better, I guess, but it's just there seems to be no creativity there, and it's the offensive line for whatever reason is sort of figured out how to block on the run, but pass it's shaky. But we have Cody Whitehair, who probably is our most reliable offensive lineman is hurt. He came out last week, so I think those the rushing numbers are going to come down significantly for the Bears.
Talking offense still. So you guys grabbed a couple of former Vikings when we released them, Armand Watts and Smith Marset. So I got it just for Vikings fans watching. So when the Vikings released Smith Marset, who was a 5th-round pick last year, they seemed like this may be the end of the Vikings and we're going to sell the team and it's over. Everybody was shocked. And I was surprised as well. I didn't have the heartstrings towards Smith Marset, so I didn't really care that much. But can you confirm on a Bears team that appears to have 0 wide receivers, has Smith Marset seen the field? And if not, can that validate that he might not be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, I haven't seen him out there. Dan, have you spotted Smith
so
Marset?
It's funny you should mention that because his name popped up, I think, when I saw the snap counts, and he was in for a few. He's had 1 target this year for the Bears. He's been completely irrelevant, and to the point where I just literally had to look him up while you were saying his name because he's totally out of sight, out of mind. And he's been irrelevant for our, one of our draft picks. Like I mentioned, Velus Jones Jr. He was inactive until this past Sunday. No, still wasn't even a consideration as a part of our game plan. So if any Vikings fan has any angst over losing that guy, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I want Smith Marset to rip it up, former Viking, but it does help that he went into a situation he still cannot see the field. So we talked rushing. I mean, you guys do have a fairly decent rushing attack, but other than that, I mean, you guys got to have something. I mean, what do the Bears do well, whether it's defensively, linebacker? What is it that we should keep our eye out on Sunday?
It's a tough.
You got to have something, man. Bunker? Vikings got to get
Yeah, our special team seems okay. Trenton Gill, rookie out of Maryland, NC State.
Bill,
what am I forgetting?
We muffed a punt last week. What are you talking about?
I know.
We muffed a punt that was supposed to be our comeback to. Yeah, our kicking game's probably okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
Wait,
Cairo
Santos missed
horrible
2 extra points. Yeah, exactly. Roquan Smith's decent, but he had Tyrod Taylor just juke the shit out of him, so I don't know. Like, honest, and we're being sarcastic. Okay, Eddie Jackson is back. He's all the way back.
Like 45 years old. How old is that guy these days?
Yeah, he's
at least.
Yeah, but he preserves himself because he won't hit anyone. He
hasn't for years.
Yeah, he won't tackle, so he'll be around for a while. But great hands. He should actually probably be one of our wideouts, I think, for sure. So he's good. Again, Roquan's good again. Our D linemen are a bunch of like last year of their contract or 1 year deal, prove it guys. There's not a lot here, to be honest. A couple young DBs that we're still waiting on. Dan,
I would say Jalen Johnson.
He's
been really good, and it's just teams are not even throwing to his side. They seem to respect him way more than I would have guessed. They're not even challenging him. So he was out last week. I don't know what's his status this week, Bill. I mean, that's a huge thing, especially with a good receiving core with the Vikings. That we definitely need him, but I would say he's probably our best player, most consistent player on defense right now if he's not dinged up.
Good call.
Once again, we got Zero Doinks with us. Hit up the links down below. Give them a sub. Hit them up on Twitter. They are very, very entertaining. Absolutely. And they do know their Bears. As far as your thoughts into this season, I mean, like you said, you guys are fairly realistic. I mean, I don't think you're making a Super Bowl run by any means. Are you actually rooting for wins at this point? Are you the type of guys that are like, I want to lose, I want a top 5 draft pick? I mean, what's your mentality?
No, I don't know about you, Dan. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm rooting for W's. I think we always are until you're mathematically eliminated, especially, and things are super bleak. And we have certainly sat in April of pre-draft excitement before thinking, damn it, why'd we have to beat the Vikings? Like Matt Nagy somehow would beat the Vikings once or twice a year, right?
Yeah, he does.
And so in retrospect, we kind of look back and think, God damn it, maybe we shouldn't have got that win. But no, in the moment, we want the Bears to be 15-2, the rest of the way and headed to the playoffs, even in a rebuilding year. We just know that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah, we always root for wins. What else we got, right? Like, that's just a loser mentality to be like, oh, we got to get a better draft pick for next year. The off season's so long. There's so few games. Like, who knows? There's a couple. We're dumb Bears fans. We always hold out hope, like, oh, we can go on a run, and there'll be a few injuries. Like Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers are gonna get in a car crash together and break all of their legs, and then maybe we could make a run, right? So we all have that dumb idea in our minds, but no, and who knows, right? Like if we win 5 games compared to 3 games, is that draft like it's not a guarantee you're going to hit that pick anyway. So we just want to be respectable at this point. This whole season hinges on Justin Fields improving for next year. And so far we've failed at that. So it's if Fields is throwing for 3, if he basically was doing what like the Lions are doing right now, like Jared Goff, who's just lighting it up and they're losing games that way, putting up points, we would be on fire right now.
Oh yeah.
It's the fact that we've had just so many years of dog shit quarterback play that it just seems like it's more of the same as really deflating, and we hope it doesn't continue that way. So, I would say we've seemed more down after the Texans game, at least if you listen to sports radio and look at Twitter, than we were maybe after the Giants game. Would you say that's fair, Bill? Like,
yeah, we've
seen more positive after this loss than we were of our last win. So that just tells you where our mindset is we're not competing with the big boys, so let's just look respectable and look better.
Yeah, and you hope you win along the way. It's incremental progress from Fields. This year will make us feel really good, which is why we're so nervous he's going to get hurt. And
bingo.
And then, I guess we'll watch volleyball on Sundays.
Oh my God,
somewhere. It's got to be on TV somewhere. I don't know. Hard to say.
Well, hey, one guy that might hurt him on Sunday, brand new, shiny Minnesota Viking, former Bear. I'm going to butcher his name. Kyrie Tonga. You guys remember him?
Oh yeah.
So
he's with the Vikings?
The Vikings just signed him from the Falcons practice squad. We just did. Lupagus and I did a video on him earlier. He played in 15 games as a rookie for the Bears. 17. He was a 7th round pick. You got anything? Just a big old man you chuck in the middle? Nothing sexy or what?
Yeah. Bill loves him. I'll let Bill go. Bill loves him. Always
really?
has.
That's good to hear.
It's because he won me a lot of money often with those late night ESPN games, just stuffing somebody for BYU at midnight. I'm 12 hams in, just hammering the money line for BYU. No, he's legitimately good. He's not exciting, not sexy. He's like 28 years old, and it's the second year. I think he went on a mission, if you will. I don't know who would, but not Dan and I. We're not very religious. Not very religious. I think it's a good pickup. Are they trying to get like hints from him about how to stop the Bears offense? Because
I don't.
You don't need much.
That's what we're seeing, like on Twitter, like, hey, they're just gonna pick his brain. And so I'm like, come on. I mean, that ain't happening. Our run defense has not been good. We need something different up the middle. I'm hoping that this isn't just a 1-week rental and then all of a sudden he's gone. So I was surprised how old he was though, 26.
Wait till you see a bad run defense. Holy shit. You haven't seen anything yet. The Bears can't tackle anybody.
Dalvin is due. I hope they pound the ball this weekend, but because Dalvin is definitely due. And speaking of this weekend, before we wrap it up, once again, Zero Doinks Podcast. Hit up the links down in the description. Bill and Dan, if they're willing, we'll be back the next time we play the Bears as well. These guys are fantastic. Not so much a score prediction, and not just because you're on a Vikings show, but like, how do you actually see this shaking out on Sunday? Do they have a chance? Because like I said, we started it. This is exactly the type of the game that the Vikings could come out and just shit the bed.
Yeah, so Dan knows we both enjoy gambling, If I, I'm not saying bet irresponsibly, ladies and gentlemen, but personally, I am definitely banging the Bears money line. I absolutely am. You said it, Onebar. It's like this is that kind of sleepy game potentially. Vikings are 3-1. They're coming back from London. I assume that they have a bunch of crumpets in their underpants, and they're going to be a little extra weight. So I think this has Bears W written all over it. Dan, how about you?
If you've not listened to us, Bill takes Bears money line literally every week. It doesn't matter if we're playing like the we're somehow playing the 85 Bears, he would still somehow take the current Bears beating them just straight up. I don't share the same confidence. The only thing that would make me think maybe just take the Bears on the points, which is 7. I think it's Bears plus 7 right now, is the Vikings almost lost to Andy Dalton a week ago, which would make me a little nervous just in general, but I don't have a great feeling. The Bears are just a complete mystery right now, and the Vikings, there's no reason they shouldn't just beat the shit out of the Bears all around, especially on offense. I mean, Dalvin Cook scares me. You said Dalvin Cook running the ball, and I immediately thought of Adrian Peterson running for like 200 yards against the Bears. So, no, I'm not as confident as Bill. I'll just say that. But I would take the points just because it's fun.
And it's because of the Vikings. We will make it close regardless of what happens. It will be close. It will come down to the end. But there you have it. 0 Doinks. Bill, Dan, appreciate you guys hopping on. Check out their links down below. And hey, good luck on Sunday, man.
Same to you.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Thank you.